Alrighty guys, welcome back to a brand new YouTube video. I posted on my Instagram like about a month ago, maybe a little bit less, saying I was going to be filming a Q&A video. So I figured today, with the weather not being so great, I would film this Q&A video and, you know, just answer some questions for you guys that you guys were commenting on the post. So I put up this post just here, and I just went through and selected, you know, some of my favorite questions, and I'm just going to answer them all real quick for you now. Also, before I get into it guys, don't forget to check out my previous videos. I have one I uploaded from my local skate park, and then I had the one before that from the Ruckus Jam. So if you haven't already, go check out my channel, go watch my previous videos, subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, for the meantime, let's just get straight into this Q&A. Okay, so the first question is from Josh Ryan, but Ryan spelled with like an X instead of an A and an underscore at the end. Do you follow AFL, and if so, what team do you go for? I haven't watched AFL in years. I watched so yes, I did watch the grand final. That was last week. That was like my first football game I watched in like years. But I did used to go for Fremantle Dockers when I used to watch AFL, but I honestly haven't been following it for like years. Nick Smitho, do you want to go to Worlds one day? I definitely do. That's always been like one of the goals I've always wanted to like achieve. I'd be super happy just to be there. I don't think I'd be there trying to win or like, you know, be in the top 12, whatever it is. But I think I'd just be happy to be there just to, you know, I'd be fanboying so hard, meeting all the different riders there and just being in that environment. I'd be super stoked to be there. So it's one of my goals one day I'd love to achieve, but I mean, you know, it's kind of hit or miss, I guess. But yeah, hopefully one day I go to Worlds, but I mean, I guess we'll just have to see. Underscore Miller Hammond asked, what's your favourite trick you've done and scariest trick you've done? My favourite trick I've ever done would probably have to be a 360 whip bar. I did that for my last edit over like Speedwood box, which isn't a very big box, and that was probably like, I've always wanted to do a 364 trick combo. When I did that, I was extremely stoked. I was very happy with that. Scariest trick I've ever done, I don't know. I did like a down-bry kickless air a while ago. That's probably the one I can think off the top of my head. I was pretty scared to do that, but it's not like, I don't think it's the scariest, but off the top of my head, that was pretty scary when I was trying that. That was like before I was on Fusion, like just before. Okay, this is a good question. Spy Bailey _S _. What do you reckon the scooter industry slash community, sorry, will be like in the future, 5 to 10 years? Parts, brands, skate parks, shops, comps, etc. Honestly, I don't know. It's really hit or miss. Like the community can either really like blossom and boom, or it can really kind of die down. Like I really hope it keeps building and progressing the way it has been, because scooters are massive. Like when I first started, they were like kind of getting bigger, but now they're just huge. Like I swear, when you go to a skate park, you see more scooter kids there than anything, and the comps are packed, and I really hope it keeps booming and going the way it does. So I hope that, you know, there are more competitions, there are more companies, there are more riders are getting paid better, I guess. More opportunity for pro riders to actually live off what they earn from their sponsors, like how skateboarders do. Like skateboarders earn killer money, same as bike riders. Like I feel like scootering needs the same thing, but I just think it's still not at that point where like skateboarding and bike riding and any other action sport, I guess, has been around for a really long time, where scootering, I guess, is still pretty new to the game. So hopefully in the next couple of years it grows in that aspect, and then there's more shops and there's more brands and there's more competition and all that kind of stuff, I guess. But I guess time will tell, see how it goes. That was a good question. Okay, Jared _Lloyd _ have you ever done a flip to concrete or wood? Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I did learn flares like January at the start of this year. I did like a fair few to resi, and then I tried one to wood. Now, if I can scavenge up the clip of me trying it to wood and stacking it pretty bad, I'll insert the clip now. But yeah, anyway, I tried it. I still hucked it, gotta send it for the boys. But yeah, I got wrecked and didn't try one again to wood. One day, you know, I'm not fussed. I mean, I'd love to do one day, but I mean, it's not, you know, gonna be the be all and end all, you know what I'm saying? Kieran Ramsey asked me, most inspired people you ride with and why? So I ride with a lot of different people, but the main people I ride with would have to be Jax, Shay, Wade, Jared, and Jay. I ride with all of those guys a fair bit. I do look up to like lots of different personalities in scooter riding. Like, I mean, I knew who Jared was before he knew who I was when I was like a kid, because he was on Mad Gear and all that kind of stuff. Same as Wade. But probably like I don't know, like, there's so many different aspects of different people I ride with that I like about them. Like, Shay's been riding scooters for like years, and he was riding like before razors were around. I think the scooter he had was like a JD Bug or something like that. So like, I just respect the fact that he was riding back then and still rides now. And he's just so wrapped on like how far scootering's come, and is wanting, like, just loving seeing it progress and all that kind of stuff, which I just think is so cool. Like, I respect and admire that kind of like mindset. But then there's riders who literally are just amazing for their skill and their personalities, like Jared and Wade and Jay. They're all really good riders. They're always progressing and are very positive towards riding, and I guess that kind of inspires me. Okay, so Taj.Peck asks, what's your favourite skate park and why? So my favourite skate park, it really depends, because I do love indoors, but I do also like a lot of outdoors. As much as I love like resis and all that kind of stuff, I think my favourite skate park is still going to have to be Bayswater, because Bayswater just pretty much has everything that you want. I mean, the air there is pretty average, but I mean, it has a good box, good bank to banks, it has good transition. Like, everything about that park is great. I think that's one of the best parks in the world. Like, I mean, a lot of people have come to Perth and we've taken them to Bayswater, been like, you gotta come check it out, and they've rode it and been like, this park is so sick, like, just loved it. So I'm gonna have to say Bayswater would definitely be my favourite skate park. What was your first trick on a scooter? Oh, this is by C_Willy04. My first trick on a scooter I'm pretty sure it was a tail whip. I didn't learn bar spins for ages. I learned inwards before I could bar spin, which is so strange. Yeah, I'm pretty certain it was a tail whip when I was like 14 or something. Josh.Rioli asks, favourite 360 combo and why? It'd have to definitely be a 360 triple bar. I just love the look of them and like how nice they look when they're clean, when you like do the bar spins consistently and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so 360 triple bar would definitely have to be my favourite 360 combo, but I think all of them are pretty cool. 360 bar with bars and all that kind of stuff. Like, any 363 trick combo is just sick. I love them. They look so cool. They look sick. So Wade France_96 asks, goals in riding, have you achieved them? This is another good question. So I guess I've achieved some of the goals that I wanted to achieve. I know one of them when I was a bit younger was I wanted to go to Oz Titles, and I did go to Oz Titles. I've been twice actually. So I did that. I wanted to get sponsored by a company I liked. I didn't want to get just sponsored by like any company just because they offered me or whatever. I had to really like what they were like offering me and what their scooter park's going to be like, and I have achieved that. So I guess it's another goal I've achieved. But I mean, there's plenty of other goals I want to, you know, achieve now that I've started YouTube and I've started kind of riding. I've just changed my riding style. Like, instead of riding so intense all the time, I now also like to just like kind of chill, and I find I progress when I go in between the two. I'm not going to the skate park trying to like get new learns like all the time. If I just go there and like have fun and ride, I actually progress that way rather than like hammering myself, if you guys know what I mean. But yeah, that was a good question. _Brooke Lynch, who's the prettiest girl in the entire world? This girl right is the prettiest girl in the entire world. Okay, next question. Lil Steezy, are you going to have a SIG deck in the future? Honestly, I have no idea. I'm gonna say it's probably really unlikely. I'm not on a pro contract with Fusion or any other company. I mean, if I eventually get on pro one day and I get a SIG part, or I get offered to get a SIG part, then I'm not gonna say no. I've never thought about it. I've just been happy to ride and represent the companies I ride for, but I've never thought about SIG parts or anything like that before. But I mean, that would be cool, but I mean, I have no idea. My _name_underscored asked, what's your top 5 worst skate parks in Perth? Straight off the bat, number 1, Bibra Lake. Bibra Lake is terrible. I do not understand how that skate park costed $3 million to make, and so did Kwinana, and Bibra Lake is what they came out with. Nothing there is good. Everything there sucks. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I pretty much like all skate parks. Like, some of them are average, but I mean, they're good for what they're there for, but they're not like as good as other parks because of the variety. Like, so Golden Bay is a good skate park if you like riding air. All that they can really offer is fly out in the air, sorry. So, I mean, it's a good park for that, but I mean, I don't really like it because it's only those two things, but it's still a good skate park, you know. So I don't really think Perth has that many bad skate parks that I can think of, but I mean, the only park I really don't like is Bibra Lake. I can't stand that park. Okay, on to the next question. Mitch Bacon06, what's your favourite rider and who has pushed you to progress over the years? So my favourite rider would have to be Jake Clark. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's been on so many different companies, but pretty much he was like one of the first people in the world to do like everything. Like, he did like a downhill kick Bright Buttercup in like 2013 or something like that, which is 5 years ago. I think I'd only ever seen like 1 or 2 Bright Buttercups back then. Like, that was absolutely insane. So Jake Clark would definitely be my favourite rider. And he still rides now. He's just sponsored by a new company as well. So shout out to Jake Clark for still riding. I think he's a bit older as well, so that's pretty cool. And who's pushed you to progress over the years? Definitely my friends, definitely Jared, Jay and Wade. Definitely pushed me to do better and aim higher. But then lots of different people, like my girlfriend always encourages me. You know, just the people in my life who are super supportive, I guess. You know who you are. Okay, Kai Martin asked, what is your favourite ramp obstacle you've ridden? I think my favourite ramp would definitely have to be Bayswater Box. It just feels like it's the perfect size, like anything. It's good for 360s, it's good to film edit clips over. It's just good for like everything. I think Bayswater Box is one of the best boxes ever made. Kyle Day 666 asked, who do you look up to growing up as an inspiration? So I did just say Jake Clark, but also I looked up to lots of different pro riders, like, I mean, the generic, everybody loved Willie. I really liked Brendan Smith, Carl Page, Billy Watts. I don't know, well, I mean, when I was growing up, there was still like all the people I'm friends with now were like who I looked up to, like Wade France, Jared Colwell. Oh jeez, there's just so many good riders. Jesse Bays, Dylan Morrison. I guess everybody kind of looks up to the same kind of riders. Those were the main people I looked up to, but it was mainly Jake Clark and Brendan Smith were the main two. Okay, and Jai Pierce asked, any future plans traveling with scooters? So I know I'm going to Melbourne in January. I'll be going with Jared, Jay, Wade and Jay. Going for like a roughly 2 weeks just to ride and film, I guess. I probably will end up trying to finish my Fusion edit while I'm there. Also, I'll be going to Oz Titles this year, which is in Queensland apparently. That's like a little bit after, I think that's March or April or something. So I'll be going to Melbourne in January and then Queensland like just after, like 2-3 months after. Ruckus Scooters, what keeps you motivated to keep progressing? Honestly, first off, that's a good question. I just think there are so many things like scooting has helped me with that like just makes me not, like I don't ever think about quitting, ever. Like it just doesn't even come into my mind. I just love the sport. Like I go on YouTube, I just watch edits all the time. I've been watching the same edits non-stop since I was like 14 or 15. Like I just don't really get over videos that much. Over edits especially. Going and riding and learning tricks and meeting new personalities and people in scootering, and just like the positivity surrounding the sport is great. There's also like the negativity though, which really frustrates me. I'm like, why is this a part of the sport? But like, I mean, I guess it's a part of anything, but mainly it's like the people, the riders and the atmosphere of the sport keeps me wanting to be a part of it and wanting to progress and do better and keep riding and represent myself and just do better, you know. Okay, Hunter J. Moore asked, what is your opinion on people that can bri going into beginner in comps? A bri kind of is a beginner trick. I mean, it really depends at the competition who else is competing. So like if you're in a beginner and like the intermediate division is doing like buttercups and flares and all that kind of stuff, then I guess like a bri is okay for beginner. But if you're at a beginner and it's literally people who can like barely drop in, they're just there giving it a crack, then they probably should be moved up a division. But it's not really like, a bri isn't really like a be all and end all. Like I mean, there are kids that can like backflip but can't tail whip. Like just because you can do one good trick doesn't mean that you're good at everything and that you should be moved up a division, if you know what I mean. I guess it's really how you look at it. Just try and look at what all the other people in the other divisions are doing as their tricks and then just try and kind of justify yourself. But I think a bri is kind of a beginner trick, I guess. I'm a normal man _123 asked, what made you want to ride? So I started off skateboarding when I was a kid. My dad used to be a skateboarder, so that's how I basically got into the skate park scene. And then I started going to this, like my primary school, and my friend brought his scooter to school one day, and I was like, that looks sick. And he did like a tail whip flat, and I was like, what the hell, I need to learn that. Basically I saved up like all my pocket money. I was like doing jobs around the house to get and all that kind of stuff, to like go to Kmart and buy like a Razor A1, and I had that thing for ages. I shredded it. I don't even know what happened to it. I don't think I snapped it, but I think it was just ruined. And then I eventually saved up and bought like a Mad Gear Razor, like, well, not a Mad Gear Razor, but it was kind of like an A1, but it was a Mad Gear design. I had one of those, and then I went from that to a team edition, and then basically I started riding like whenever I possibly could, because my parents weren't exactly big on skate parks because it wasn't like safe and all that kind of stuff, like you weren't really supervised. I got into high school, but one of my friends like rode scooters, and he got me to come to the skate park with him one day, so I was like getting more and more into it, and then ever since then I've been into it. I did take a break for a little while, like I went through this stage where I just wasn't really keen on it because of like certain stuff was going on. I was about 15, 16 at the time, and then I just realized like, why did I stop? Like it was like the thing that made me feel the best about myself. So I got back into it and then pretty much never stopped, and here we are now. Okay, so Lachlan Brettagny asked, why scootering out of everything? So I don't know what it is, but like I like skateboarding, and I don't mind bikes, but I mean, scootering just stand out to me. Like, I just loved it. I loved the sport, I loved how fun it looked, it was a bit more simple than the other sports, but I mean, I guess once you get to like a higher level, everything is more complicated, like it's not really simple anymore. But like, I just loved it. I just started riding and just fell in love with the sport straight away, and I just haven't really stopped ever since I got back into it. Okay, Jeremy Fiedler? I don't really know how to say your name, man, sorry. Jeremy_Fiedler. What's your goal with YouTube? So basically my goal with YouTube is to promote scootering as much as I can, promote myself, promote my sponsors, and just create like a positive page to promote scootering. I just feel like as much as scootering has done for me when I was a kid growing up to when I finished school and I kept riding, how good it made me feel and how it helped my mental health and all that kind of stuff, I feel like I almost owe it to scootering to promote it as much as I can. There's only so much you can really do with Instagram. I figured, you know, I have a kind of decent following on Instagram that I should start doing YouTube and promoting scootering that way as well. So that's basically where I got the idea to start making YouTube videos, promote myself as a scooter rider, and to promote scootering and just show people how amazing it is and how much it's done for me, and also to promote the companies that support me. That was a good question. Jeremiah Boxtel, why did you start and how are you such a good influence to the scooter community? I mean, I explained how I started before. I think I'm an okay influence to the scooter industry. I mean, I love it and I represent it and I promote it. But I mean, there are people who do a lot more than me, like Brad or Ross from Ruckus Scooters, like people who really like dedicate their lives to the sport to promote it and literally make a living from the sport. So I think I just do my best to do my part and promote it. But I mean, those people are the real people who really keep the sport going. Okay, so we have a question from Kai Martin. Who was your biggest inspiration at this point in time? Like all of the riders I said before, I still look up to all of those people and I still am inspired by all of them. Because I'm like still focusing on Instagram and everything, I'm more focusing on YouTube, so I'm kind of trying to be more inspired by people who are more into YouTubing now, like scooter YouTubing. So I'm really inspired by people like Scooter Brad, who just promote the absolute hell out of scootering and have done pretty well for themselves through literally riding a scooter and promoting themselves and companies through that way, and I just think that's great. Also other scooter riders like Matty Shravlo, whose YouTube channel is still growing as well, but I mean, he just promotes the absolute hell out of scootering. And then there's like Max Peters and all these different people who I just watch a lot of YouTube and I try to like take as much as I can from what they make to put it into my own videos and kind of help me create better content. So I think that's who's inspiring me. So I think those like YouTube scooter riders are the ones that are inspiring me right now with how I'm going with everything. So yeah, thank you guys for watching today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sorry if I didn't get to answer your question. There was a fair few questions on there, so I just went through and I just picked the ones that really stood out to me. But I mean, I'll probably do another Q&A in like a couple of months or something and see how things progress. There might be something new you want to ask me about. If you guys haven't already, don't forget to like and comment on the video. Subscribe if you haven't already as well. Check out my channel if you haven't already, guys. It'll be in the cards. And awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.